Okay, here we go again. Another day, another beginning. Or is it the same day? Does it actually matter? We're going to use that phrase a lot today. What matters? Does it actually matter? Should I care? There's no direct answer that I can give you that will satisfy any of your questions. I want all of you to understand this. But that's exactly why we're having this conversation today. Ideally, I would prefer if I had an audience and I could talk to them and I could answer their questions and I could guide them and I could recontextualize everything they're going through. But you see, what if I actually needed that? What if I actually needed that? Well, then I'm reliant on something. That means I can't actually do my performance. I can't actually do my conversation. I can't give questions that lead to answers unless I have something there for me. What if you don't need that? Well, then you're free. So that's what today's about. Freedom. It happens after awakening. But pay attention to what I just said, awakening. I use that phrase a lot now, and I use that term a lot now, but I use it for you guys. I don't use it for myself. I use it for each and every one of you so you can understand. So, with that said, let's get started. Going full screen. How is everyone today? We just made a new recipe, some nuts, some chocolate, some cayenne pepper, some orange, some lime juice, or sorry, some pickle juice. Warmed it up, and we mixed it up. It's pretty good. You know, in a way, I would never have to rely on anything now because I can just make it myself. I can just create things by myself. And it doesn't matter what happens, it doesn't matter what sounds you hear. It doesn't have to even change my path. I want all of you to know that I have a few things set up right now in my vicinity that could lead to disruptions. And I want you just to listen and pay attention to when they happen and why they happen. And that's all I'm going to say about it. I want you guys to start piecing things together and start figuring it out. But I'm not actually interfering or stopping or trying to give all the answers up front. Okay. But I have things set up in such a way that they can cause disruption to me. And you have to ask yourself, why would I do that if I know that? That is something that I want you to think about. So, what is the goal of today? A conversation, to talk, to get all of you to understand that this stream, this recording, whether you watch it live, whether you watch it tomorrow, whether you watch it 100 years from now, is going to have a lot of answers. This is part of my plea to awaken people. But like I said, I'm only using that term for all of you, not for myself, because I don't believe in terms. So I challenge all of you, as we're about to get started, to start paying attention to every single thing that I'm doing. Not just what I'm saying. Every single thing. Why am I doing it? What benefit could there be? What consequence could there be? He's so intentional. Why would he choose to do these things? Is there something that I'm missing? And if so, is that a bad thing? Does he have a plan? Is he going to talk about a set script? Does he have limitations on himself? Is he going to, does he have to cover certain things or else it's considered a failure? Or why is he just talking and calm? Why is he just moving forward? Why would he do that? Is there a reason for it? Could there be a reason for it? What if it's just my program? I always drink water like this. I always drink water like this. Do I? You guys hear that? Could that mean something? What does it mean to you? Could there be more meaning to that than what we think? You guys ever made an Americano? Some of you might not know what that is. Some of you might know. So I'm actually going to drink my coffee first because I always forget nowadays because I got used to drinking it cold. I couldn't do that before. People are like, what? You couldn't drink coffee cold. I'm like, I say that I could, right? But it was a struggle. It was extremely challenging for me because I got used to, through repetition, because of my entire life, being raised in an environment where I was always had access to extremely good coffee. And coffee was a big part of my German heritage. And I have a lot of positive memories, which we call associations, with coffee. And there's many other reasons why I have great coffee associations. I'm not going to go more personal, but I just wanted to show people something. So I got used to drinking it warm. If I didn't drink it warm, it just wasn't as good. And by the way, I still agree with that. So let's take a sip. I still agree with that. Warm coffee is way better than cold coffee. It really is. Now, people could be like, what about iced coffee? I'm like, sure, right? There's value there. There's good and there's bad. There's a reason for it. Maybe, is it warm outside? Maybe an iced coffee could be better. But I'm saying just in general, for myself, I'm telling you, if you understand how to maximize the coffee area, I'm telling you that if you learn how to drink black coffee, hear what I'm saying. If you learn that warm black coffee tastes better than cold black coffee. You might disagree with me. You might disagree with me. So who's correct? I'm the coffee aficionado. Don't you guys know that? I grew up being raised by a culture that literally has what they call Kaffeezeit, coffee time. I had coffee almost every single day since I was a young boy. I'm pretty sure I have way more coffee experience than you. So let's drink coffee. Warm. What if you disagreed with me? Why am I right? Or why are you correct? Why? What makes one of us more correct than the other? What's the thing that makes us correct? Have any of you actually stopped to ask yourself that? What if a dove flies by right now? Right here, it lands next to me. and takes a sip of my coffee and then just like makes a weird sound. I'm like, oh, clearly didn't like it. Does that mean it's not good anymore? My warm coffee is just actually bad because that that dove had that reaction to it? What if it's actually just bad for the dove, but not for me? Could that be possible? Could something have made that happen? Could something have made the dove have that reaction to my coffee? Could that change? Could the dove learn to enjoy the coffee? What if, this is good, it's a reminder to you. What if you actually learned that, you know what? I want to try cold coffee and I want to try warm coffee. Don't take this analogy in any other way than literally, guys, right now, okay? I know I said focus on everything, but this time I'm trying to get you guys to focus on a literal analogy. Why? Because when I'm going to make this example, I want people to pay attention to something. You're going to have things that populate into your head, okay? There's something in this world that can affect that. Have you guys ever considered that? Why do those thoughts populate into our head? And I'm telling you, when there's analogies and there's vague suggestions, there's room for interpretation, which is good. But I'm telling you that you need to pay attention to this part, okay? So, cold coffee or black coffee. All right? So, I couldn't drink cold coffee before. I really couldn't. Like the moment it got cold, doesn't matter what I was doing. If I had access, hear what I said. If I had access to the option and the availability to warm it up, I did so. Normally through a microwave. If I didn't, I usually just drank it very quickly to get it over with because I didn't enjoy it. And yet, I'm telling you, coffee is one of my shields. So, how is it possible that coffee, if it became cold, all of a sudden became something that was not as good anymore? Was it that I got used to it? So, what is getting used to something? Conditioning. We don't even realize that everything is conditioning. Okay. Now, the reason why I didn't try to just talk about that word and just throw it out a lot is because it becomes a buzzword then, right? It becomes just a term that everyone starts using and they don't really understand what it means. And that's intentional, by the way. I just want everyone to understand that. When people use terms for anything, it's intentional to keep you down, to keep you confused. If everyone pretends that they know what it means, like, hey guys, did you know that I can do astral projection? Yeah, I can do astral projection, guys. Do you guys know that I'm a lucid dreamer? Until you get that skill, you're not enlightened or awakened. People are like, wait, what? There's so much I need to figure out. Do you guys know that I can do magic with a K at the end? You guys know that I can manifest things in my reality? Do we understand? Most of you could be doing all these things and you don't even know if you are. Most of you stumble upon it by accident and do so once in a while. But I'm telling you, those terms are meant to keep you down. Okay? So let's get back to the coffee. So, conditioning, getting used to it. Cold coffee was truly, I call it a chain. Okay? I call it a chain where it feels like you can't do it. And people are like, that's absurd. How is that possible? And I'm telling you, each and every one of you have that for different things. Do we understand? It could be something as simple as when I do progression pushes, and I'm going to do some later today when I play video games, I'm going to do some challenges and stuff like that to push myself intentionally. I self-limit, right? I create situations in these video games where I don't upgrade, where I don't use the best things that are available to me. Even though I have access to them, I have the self-control. I can resist. I can choose not to use them. Why? Because I want to see how far I can go before I actually need it. Need is a very, very important word there, because too many times we think we need something, but we don't. We could have done it without. It's just the thing made it easier. But hear what I said, it made it easier. Need it versus easy is a completely different thing. Yet, if you're corrupted, if you're hurt, if you're sad, if you're on a dark path, if you're looking for revenge, if you're looking for the easy win, I'm telling you, it's because they made you feel that way. All right. So I'm going to be doing these video game challenges later, right? Intentionally pushing myself to a level that most of you can't comprehend yet. I'm saying that, let's say if right now I'm like, okay, you have to cover 20 topics in 20 minutes, right? And they have to be all amazing, right? And if you don't, you lose and you have to start over again. I call it that. I call that an enrage timer, right? Well, I only have 4 minutes left. Uh-oh. And I'm not even close to being done without I want to cover. I just am talking, right? Like I'll know when I'm done, right? It doesn't matter. It could be done in 15 minutes or it could be done in an hour. It doesn't matter. But you see, imagine if I had that limitation, right? So I'm saying, what if I had that limitation, but then I am like, actually, let's do 25 topics. And you're like, I can't even do it with 20. Now you want me to do it with 25 topics? I'm like, yes. But you see, when you're practicing in an environment where you're not getting punished, where you don't have to like just redo everything from the beginning and just spend time, you're always learning something, you're always figuring something out, well, then it's progression. Okay. So why do I talk about that? Because remember what I said about the chain. It feels like you just can't do it. And I'm like, there's no way. I can't do that video game challenge in 20 minutes. I can't do this stream. I can't talk about 25 things in 20 minutes. It's just I can't. You literally feel like you can't. Like something is stopping you. And I'm telling you, for many of you, it could just be posting publicly on LinkedIn or on YouTube or something, not anonymously, a comment about the things that you're experiencing or your theories or your suspicions. Like, I feel like things are there, there could be illusions in this world. I feel like something's inserting poison directly into my head that's trying to attach to the things around me. I feel like the predictive text that pops up into my head when something happens and trying to tell me what to say isn't me, but I'm not sure about that. I feel like it reminds me of things that I know are wrong, but I just don't know why. Just this gets stuck in my brain and just stays there. And I feel infested. I feel sad. I feel scared. I get worried. I get nervous. I have like this reaction, this feeling in my body. I don't understand why that happens. It's almost like it's a programmed reaction to seeing something, like a sense, like something got activated. Like if I stepped into a trap and telling you, most of you would never write those comments. And if you did, it would be on Reddit or on a forum where you could have an avatar with a different name because it wouldn't be tied to you. So why would you feel comfortable posting about it anonymously, but not on a website like LinkedIn that's attached to your name? What's the difference? There isn't any. Do you understand? There isn't a single difference, but you all think there is. And I ask you, why do you think that's the case? Because you're worried about something. Because certain things got installed in you. You got used to certain things, but you also know of certain things that could happen. Or so you hear. So info. Do we understand? It changes your path. So I'm telling you guys, I literally had a chain, because we get a chain to every single one of what I call shields. And shields are just things that protect us, okay? That make us who we are, who make us better. And sometimes some of you are like, well, I don't know who I am. And that's completely normal, by the way, right? You don't have to figure it out, the whole thing. Like, not everyone is going to be there yet. That's the whole point, right? We're progressing, we're climbing, we're walking forward, we're learning. But too many of us just stop. So we never actually figure out who we are. And I'm telling you, most of us figured it out throughout our entire life, but we didn't realize so, right? Because throughout the first, let's just say 33 years of your life, okay? I'm 33. Throughout the first 33 years of your life, you were presented things, okay? And there was things that you went down paths, right? And you could say that some of them were done intentionally. They were, or could they be? Could something have intentionally shown us things and like placed us in rooms and exposed us to certain information to make us become a certain way? Absolutely. I think that there's nothing to be afraid about when you think about that, right? I'm telling you, that's not only a possibility, it's a reality. But why did I give you the answer there? Because there's so much more to that. Okay. I just wanted you guys to know that yes, that's real. Okay. Just think about it logically. If you have a child or if you have siblings, they were exposed to different things than you were. If they had a separate room than you, they had a different reality than you. Okay. Just think of it like that. All right. So each one of us had different experiences. If they had a different teacher than us, they had different experiences. Okay. So yes, but what if I said that that was intentional, right? Could I install certain chains in you? Yeah. But also, there's things that you knew made you your best self. And I'm telling you, throughout our path, we knew that, but we forget. And I'm saying we were made intentionally to forget. Could that be possible? Could we have been intentionally made to forget what our shields are, what protects us? Could what could make us not want to do our shields anymore? What do you guys think? What if I only had access to cold coffee years ago when I hadn't broken the chain yet to coffee, to cold coffee? Would I drink as much coffee? What do you guys think? If I felt like I couldn't drink cold coffee because I didn't like it, because I got used to drinking only warm coffee, because of the environment that I was raised in and exposed to, if then I was put in a situation where I only had access to cold coffee, would I enjoy coffee as much? Do you guys understand? What if literally for 10 years of your life, then you only got access to cold coffee? Do you guys get it? If you don't break that chain, that means that they completely eliminated a shield from you. That means that all of a sudden, 10 years from now, I might see you again. And I'm like, why don't you drink coffee anymore? You used to. And you're like, yeah, I don't really like it. Coffee's just weird. And I'm like, what? I'm like, but why? I'm like, that's okay if you don't like it anymore. But why don't you? Like, what happened? Like, what was the path that got you there? And we never actually stopped to ask ourselves that. Okay. Like, how did we get to that? Like, what caused these changes in each and every one of us? And I'm telling you, this is the answer to everything, by the way, guys. This is what happens when you awaken. You just have this clarity. It's just, you can see clearly. Okay. It's just, everything just makes sense. You see the vision, you see the code, you hear the cries of the planet, but really the answer is just simplicity. Okay. So why am I telling you guys all this? Because I'm like, I stopped playing games like Final Fantasy online and World of Warcraft and wasn't leading and guiding. And I didn't really understand how that happened, right? Because I knew that they had been poisoning it for a long time, right? They didn't want me to do it because it healed me a lot, but I didn't understand why, right? And I stopped. And why did I stop? Because I got addicted to it, okay? It literally consumed my life, but that was for a good reason. I learned a lot. Like I was learning a lot, but I also needed to do a little bit more balance. I needed to mix in a few other things. But I was growing, I was learning, I was evolving, but it was important because that was, it shielded me from all the poison. Okay. But the problem was that I didn't understand balance yet. Okay. I didn't understand how to like, well, okay, now let's do a different path here and let's do a different path here and let's do a different path here. But still it's can be the majority of my time. But right? I didn't understand that yet. So I got chained to it. But you see, like then they ruined it like that by getting me addicted and poisoned. And it's because people were starting to present information. Okay. And they gave me a path forward and were starting to tell me that that's the path of how we should live once we're an adult. That's the path that we need to walk once we're done with school. Right? Like they were tainting video games, they were tainting mass multiplayer online games. They had no idea what it was for me, right? I'm not going to get more into that right now, But I just want people to understand, like, that's real, okay? So then I'm like, I didn't play it, or really, I stopped thinking about it, I stopped talking about it, I stopped doing all this stuff, like, truly, completely. I wasn't playing World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy online or raiding or doing or guiding. I used to manage and lead entire organizations, and I stopped doing that. And I use those skills elsewhere. But do you guys get it? Like, and yet now I brought it back. You're like, well, how's that possible? Because I remembered. Because now I can choose. Most of us are walking around on this earth not able to choose, okay? We just do whatever we get used to and whatever is most reinforced and presented to us. That's how they chain us. So what I'm saying is, now we go back to coffee, okay? The cold coffee one. What if I broke that chain? Okay, so what if I'm just, you don't, by the way, I just want people to understand. Some people would call this exposure therapy. It's not necessary, okay? Exposure therapy is not necessary. For many of you, it's actually the worst thing you can do because it starts paths, okay? What it does is it just brings back the recency, it brings back all that stuff, and then you start the path. That's actually the worst thing for most of you. If you're not a healer, it's very dangerous because think of it like this, okay, guys? There's a circle, all right? Back to my nuts now. See how one thing leads to the next? And if you're inside that circle, you're poison, okay? But what if there's one nut out here? It's not poisoned. You understand? But if you're doing exposure therapy, you're doing this. And you can say that you're healing it. You can. But you have to be healing it. You understand that if you're in it, all I have to do is keep reminding and adding more. I'm like, what if I just kept adding more nuts? You understand? If you're up here, it's fine. But what if you fall in? You guys know which one you were anymore? Which of the nuts? Kind of all blends together, right? That's what they do to you, okay? If you're trying to intentionally do exposure therapy and rewrite things, that's what they do to you. So unless you know exactly what you're doing, don't do that, okay? And if it's something harmless, okay, if you don't have any negative association with like the sticky sensation, let's say I already had a chain with that, or cold coffee, then you can do so. I'm telling you, don't do exposure therapy for things that they actually created poison, negative reminders, situations attached to anything bad, okay? Don't do that. It's not worth it. So let's go on a more positive path. I just want people to understand that. So I just started being like, well, okay, can I just drink cold coffee? I'm like, yeah, it's not that bad. But the problem is, what you realize is then it becomes more of a tool. And that's not a bad thing, right? It becomes more of an energy tool. It becomes more, I'm like, hey, I want to use this to stay awake rather than enjoying the experience of warm coffee. Do you guys understand? But now, if my coffee got cold, I don't have to warm it up. I can choose to warm it up. What if right now my coffee was cold and I had a chain to drinking cold coffee still? I'm like, it's cold. I got to warm it up. And right now, even though I was streaming, I'm like, I have to go warm it up right now, guys, or else I won't drink any more coffee this stream. And I did, and I went to warm it up. Okay? But what if I wanted to warm it up? I wanted to warm up my cold coffee, to drink warm coffee, because I have access to it. The solution is there, right? But I feel like I can't because I have another chain. And what's that other chain? I want my stream to be perfect. I want my stream to be great. I wanted to give you guys all the answers. I can't be late. I can't have my hair wrong. I have to have the lighting correct. If I just got up right now and like they saw that I was just wearing shorts, like they would think that's unprofessional. I can't post these comments on LinkedIn because it's unprofessional. Like, do you guys understand? That means I want to warm up my coffee because it's cold and I have a chain to cold coffee. Yet I also have a chain to not having my stream perfect because I'm worried about what people are going to say. I'm worried about I won't get as many likes. I'm worried or about success criteria that maybe I won't get money from this. Maybe I won't get job offers. Maybe it will actually cause people to think I'm crazy and dislike me, and they'll never talk to me anymore. So I don't go warm up my coffee. Which what I'm saying is for most of you, and now not moving away from the analogies, you guys don't expose and write what you're experiencing to try to figure this out and piece it together because you're worried that what are people going to say? You want to. You want to figure this out. You want to have this conversation. You want to get answers with me, but you're afraid to because you're worried about what could possibly happen because you're chained to the idea that something bad will happen, that maybe people will think you're weird, that maybe you guys understand, like all that is your chains and your insecurities because then they put a lock on it, right? So then you're like, okay, I'm going to break the chain for cold coffee. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. And then all of a sudden you're about to try and something stops you. And you're like, I don't understand. Like, why couldn't I warm up my coffee? And it's because all of a sudden you got an ad, or maybe you were scrolling your social media and it was like, all you moms who have to raise problematic daughters who don't listen, who don't want to be their best self. This one's for you today. And you're like, oh gosh, my mom always thinks I'm a loser and a failure. She's like, why don't you know how to drink proper coffee? Why don't you know dining etiquette? Why don't you know how to dress? Why don't you know how to have conversations with people? What? So that means that there's a lock attached to you, your mom. I call it an insecurity, but really it's just you're worried about like she has this lock on you, right? And that's intentional, right? They installed that on you. But they see that they first get chained by things, by people, information, and then usually the locks aren't people. I just want you to know, but I'm just giving an example for you guys to understand. Usually it's an overall theme, right? And it could be it actually isn't the mom. It's you care what people think, right? You're worried about their opinions. And it could be that they installed that into you when you were young. It's really easy to install. All you have to do is at school have a kid try something that they've been building up at home, like, let's say a talent show. It's like, hey, you're learning how to sing, and then you sing for the first time, and everyone laughs at you. And then the next day, someone's like, the person doesn't know how to sing. Do you understand? But what if we did the opposite? And someone's like, that's so cool that you know how to sing Spanish songs. That's awesome. Do we understand? For any event. Well, what if you got laughed at and I approached you? I'm like, hey, by the way, if I started singing right now, I'm telling you, you sang so much better than I could ever do, especially the first time I ever sang. And it's not a competition, but I want you to understand that this is your first time singing. You did a great job. You were intentionally never given a chance to learn how to sing in anything. And this goes for anything, right? And doesn't, or maybe you actually have experience there, and then you believed, and then something like it's just you failed. Okay, like you were meant to sing. Ay, mi familia, oiga mi gente, canten a coro, let it be known. Yeah, so you're supposed to do like the last part of that lyric has to be like, let it be known. I'm like, what? Why? They're like, that's the proper way to do so. Oh, I'm gonna go back to my warm coffee then. I'm never gonna try to break my chain to cold coffee again. Do you guys understand? Is this starting to make sense? They do this to each and every one of you. It's why you feel like you can't do something. And I'm telling you, I encourage all of you to spot it and identify it in areas of your life that don't actually have severe consequences or punishments. Why do I say that? Because once you learn how to identify how they put chains on you and the locks that you have, you're like, wait a minute, this is everywhere. Like right now, can you make a thumbnail for like a stream or a video and just do whatever? No, then you're chained. Do you guys understand? People are like, I care about it, getting it, the quality and making it good and making it impactful and getting the answer. I'm like, that's yes, you should. You understand? There's nothing wrong with that. The key is, do you feel like you can't release it or can't post it or can't comment or can't put that thumbnail on or make it without that? That's what a chain is. And you have to learn how to identify what your chains are. Anything that feels like you can't. And I'm telling you, for most of you, it's not because you're actually getting punished or attacked. I literally felt like I couldn't drink cold coffee. Do you guys understand? I literally felt like I couldn't drink cold coffee. So I didn't. Speaking of, I want my coffee. Okay. Let's continue. So, enough about that. We're going to change gears now. I didn't know I was going to talk about that, but it was good. So, why did I talk about that? Because what I've been trying to do over quite a while now, but specifically for the past few weeks, is to try to get people to charge with me, to walk forward, and just start talking openly in the public to reclaim the narrative. Because when you reclaim control of the narrative, you heal. And I want people to understand that it doesn't mean that you're manipulating. It just means that you no longer let other people decide for you what's actually happening. You just get to choose. Like I said, what if I only served you cold coffee? Then you don't get to choose. Do you understand? And if you can't drink cold coffee, then you never drink coffee again. We need to get to a point where after this is just the end of that last segment, where after everything we've experienced our entire life, okay, if we break every single chain and we break every single lock, do you guys get it? That if you want to drink only warm coffee after that, if you have access to that, you can do so because you know that it's better. It's better for you. You now know, right? Because you know, and you don't have to even try cold coffee anymore ever again. Doesn't even matter what it is. For anything, you guys understand? You now know that it's not good. So each and every one of you can choose. And I'm telling you, this happens in everything. Work. Every one of you think that you are tied to that and you have to do it and all this stuff and you must do it, and that's how life is set up. And I'm telling you guys, you're chained. They put locks on you that think that if you lose it or you don't have it, it's over. It's your worth. That's why you're good at something, or all this stuff. That's your purpose. And I'm like, there's nothing further from the truth. But what if you, after you quit or you give yourself time and you move away from it, then you can decide, do I want to go back to it? You see, you can choose. You don't even need paths. You don't even need paths. You can just choose. And that's what you guys need to get to for every single thing. Okay. So that's the push. Okay. So now what are we going to do? Now we're just going to talk. So what happens when we awaken? You're seeing it. You no longer care. It's not apathy. It's not hatred. It's not evil. You can channel darkness to get things done, but you don't even contemplate being dark to hurt. The only reason why you would even consider darkness is as a tool to accomplish good things. So when you get to this point, the world is different. You see everything differently. And that's how you know when you reach that state, that level. It's a new world. And it changes your outlook on everything. You don't need as much. You actually don't need almost anything. And it's not, I want people to understand, it's not even just conditioning yourself and getting used to it. That's part of it. But it's just, you understand. Everything is just so, the water is just not murky. Okay? You know that there isn't a Dianoga squid from Shadows of the Empire Star Wars under the water. You know. It's safe, right? But you also know when there's danger. You can just see everything. Just think about, like, there's little lasers that you have to dodge, and you just see them. Most of you are walking around without being able to see them. Some of you might be completely lost right now, and that's completely okay. That's okay. Do you guys understand? That's okay. I needed all of you to understand that life gets a lot simpler. Despite, once you start going down this path and you realize what actually is going on in this world, everything gets a lot more complex, because you're like, wait, that's how they do it. That's how they piece everything together. That's how they remind us of things. That's how they start paths. That's how they got me to do things. That's how they got me to be poisoned. That's how they made me forget. This is how they made me believe. You understand? And you see, like, you keep seeing that, and then you're like, oh no. And you can get completely overwhelmed. And it's good. It's a good thing, right? Because it pushes you. It makes you explore. It makes you try to figure things out. But at the same time, you're like, well, hold on. To what end? What's the point? Does it matter? Why am I doing this? Well, I just want people to understand that you're going to have more questions than answers. I still have more questions than answers. Yet everything is so evident to me, like the path forward and what needs to happen and how we're going to make things better. Yet I'm telling you guys, I have more questions than answers now than when I began this journey. But you see, you no longer care about getting those answers because you realize they don't actually matter. Have you guys thought about that one? Why do you care about the stories that you care about? Any story. Have you guys thought about that one? Why do I care about making sure that if I had like my mom here now, that I give her warm coffee instead of cold? I want you guys to think about that. So I'm a good person. I'm a nice person. Why don't you describe yourself that way? Do you guys see? We could go down that path, and you see how it leads from one thing to the next, 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 one thing to the next. It starts a path. And just through questions. And it can consume you. And believe me, ask me how I know. And you can get completely lost in it. But at the same time, many of you, that's exactly what you need. You need to be asking questions. You need to be writing things down. You guys need to be trying to decipher things and figure things out. You guys need to be getting lost and figuring out, could there be more to the world? Why do I care about certain things? How did I get to caring about those things? Why did I walk down that path? What was presented to me that first let me learn about this? What was my source of info? How did I get that source of info? Did I choose it, or was it suggested to me? Did someone present it to me? What was the timing of it? Why was that sent to me right then? Who sent it to me? Why did they do that? Was it a good thing? Was it a bad thing? Was it neutral? Do I decide? Does someone else determine that? Why does someone else determine it? Is it because I'm giving up my agency, or was I told that their opinion matters more? Does their opinion actually matter more? Does it actually matter if their opinion matters or my opinion matters? Or now we're back to the beginning. Who's actually correct? The dove or myself? And you start writing all these things down. I recommend like a notepad or a notebook or something of that nature. But you could even use your phone, use the note app, or just text yourself. But I highly recommend just doing it by hand, because could there be things that manipulate our technology and modify things? That's up to you to decide. But in my reality, yes. Okay. And I want you guys to start being like, could that be possible? Could technology be manipulated? Anything that's modifiable, could it be possible that things are manipulating it? We always thought it wasn't possible, but could it be? And you're not getting cyber hacked. You're not. There's things that actually can manipulate your reality. So with that, I say, do you guys see how just by asking questions, we're exploring, we're stress testing. So what is stress testing? How far can we go? That's why I went back to talking about the video game thing. Like, you're pushing yourself to see, well, what does this do? So attempt one, you're like, well, I'm going to see what happens if I do this. Hey, could it be possible that they install poison code on certain things? I'm like, well, let's see. I'm like, what? How does my head feel when I'm listening to music while laying down in this location versus not? I'm like, wow, interesting. It's getting a lot more quiet all of a sudden without music. Yet before that wasn't the case. Does that mean that they learned that that's something that I do consistently and they started putting poison there? Maybe I should change it up. Maybe I should change my path. Maybe I should try something different. Could it be that maybe the tool itself has poison? Could it be Wi-Fi? Could it be like, you see, like all of a sudden you start asking questions, and you actually could be wrong about any of those things. But you see, you're exploring, but you're basing it off of your experiences and what you're dealing with. Be like, I don't know why, guys, but when I put music on loop, especially instrumental songs that don't have as many lyrical nudges, because they nudges can be all of a sudden I get teleported to different places when there's words. So if I say like "He lives in you" versus it's different. I'm like, interesting. Why does that happen? Why are they different lyrics or nudges? So anyway, why do I tell you guys that? So I notice when I have it on loop, all of a sudden I'm like, Final Fantasy 16. Away doesn't affect me like that. Why? I'm like, oh, it's because I've attached a positive association to it when I was playing the video games, and I know like it reminds me of that time period when I played Final Fantasy 16 and overcame so many things, and right, like so I'm like, oh, so you can attach an overall association theme to a song, and then if you loop it, or you can start you get into flow and you can protect yourself. But if you do a mix of songs and it's just one after another, you can get down, have that theme and feel that way and channel it. And I'm like, that's interesting. But I'm basing it off how I feel. And I'm like, oh, interesting. They can actually start nudging and trying to create paths if I'm talking about certain things. I'm like, could it be that there something is directly inserting poison reminders into us right before we're about to start talking about something to try to poison and corrupt it? I'm like, could that be possible, guys? I'm like, okay, well, right now I'm about to play Final Fantasy online. Could they do something bad before I do that? I'm like, oh wow, yep, they did. I'm like, interesting. That's how that works. I'm like, could it be that I can create a positive to a certain outfit? I'm like, could this be a reminder to heal? And this is my shepherd talisman, and I'm the shepherd star diplomat, and this is my shepherd vest, and all that stuff like that. Like, is that possible? Could I attach like a positive association and create my own to clothes and objects? And all of a sudden you're like, well, let's try it. And you're like, wait, it works. You're like, wait a minute. How do I know it works? Because I tried it for myself. I experimented. I stress tested. By the way, guys, this is the answer. Okay. How do I know? Because I'm experimenting. I'm exploring. I'm baiting them. Do you guys get that there could be entities in this world that control our reality and what populates into our head and what we experience outside? Okay. I'm not going to talk about illusions and fabrications and the timing of things right now, but I want you guys to know that all those things are real. Okay. But I'm telling you, they have to attack you. I call them the spiritual entities. They have to attack you, and you can bait them because they always will try to poison whatever you do next if it's helping you. Always. Doesn't matter what it is. Could you use that to experiment and figure out what they are, what they do? Because people get lost, right? They're like, well, I want to know what these spiritual God creation entities that can literally create something out of thin air or just make sounds happen out of the timing and things like that nature. Like, I want to know what they are. I'm like, are they like the Anunnaki? Are they Ra from the Law of One? Are they like the dark version of the star seeds? I'm like, does that really matter? Are they part of Thelema? Witchcraft? I'm like, does that really matter? If you know what they are doing to you and how it works, does it actually matter? What I'm trying to tell you guys is you need to just learn what is happening and how to identify it. For our programs, hey, every time I drink coffee, after I go on a little rampage against these evil spirits, I always grab my coffee like this and I drink it like this. Okay, if that's the case, if I identified that, I'm like, could I drink it with both hands like this? Do I always finish my cereal by drinking the milk and like that? You see? You guys get it. I'm like, wait, that's my program because I feel like that's what I always do. When I'm talking, do I always do this? Can I do this time? This. Do you guys get it? You start understanding paths, options, approaches, programs. You can identify them. And it can get a little overwhelming. But why am I doing this right now? I'm trying to mix it in between things because I want people to understand you need to start asking questions so you can start questioning your reality to make progress. For all of you, it's going to get really complex for a little bit, but that's good. You needed more complexity in your life. Most of you are operating the way I am now, yet you guys know nothing. You think you do, and I'm telling you, I thought so too. I thought I had figured out life so many times years ago, and I knew nothing. And I'm saying I knew everything about the modern game of life, the rules of how humanity supposedly determined it. I'm telling you guys, I had mastered it. I'd figured it out. So I was confident. But I was wrong about everything, every single thing. If you care at all about money, by the way, that means you have zero knowledge about how life actually works. Straight up. If you care at all about money, even 1%, you don't know anything about this world at all. That's my answer. So, how do you figure it out? You have to start identifying the things that are happening and how they happen. And you have to see for yourself, like, okay, for some reason, right before I was about to do my shield or play like a video game that I enjoy, all of a sudden I got reminded of these things. How did that happen? What presented the info to me? Oh, I browsed social media. Oh, a family member walked by and randomly said something or made a noise right before I did that. I'm like, what? And it was then the next thing that I did had something that was related to that. I'm like, could it be connected? Do we understand? You guys have to start exploring. You have to start asking questions. You have to start moving forward. So, what happens after awakening? Questions, not answers. Because for the first time ever in your entire life, each and every one of you, you start exploring and asking questions. You live to figure things out. I'm telling you, every single day, all you're trying to do is figure things out, and you're so good at it. Each and every one of us will get to that point. When you awaken, you get good at figuring things out. But do you hear? I'm never saying that there's no time limit, there's no punishment if you don't, but you're just spending all your time trying to piece things together. You're like, well, could there be a different way of drinking water? Why does it matter? It doesn't. You see, you're trying to figure things out. You're trying to evolve. You're trying to move forward. You're trying to understand, can I do things a little differently this time? If not, can I just talk about different things? Can I challenge myself a different way? Like, you see, everything changes because you believe you know what you're capable of and nothing stops you. Doesn't mean that don't have to sometimes protect yourself, right? When you're getting attacked, but now you also can identify attacks. You guys see, like, you start piecing things together, you start understanding why it happens, where it happens, how it happens. So then everything starts making sense to you. Yet I'm telling you guys, you still have more questions. You're like, how is it possible that there's things in this world that can literally control what's presented to us? The timing? You mean they can literally spawn things out of thin air? Is that really possible? They can literally insert something into someone's head to make them say something related to what I am doing. That's possible? How is that possible? Wait, does it actually matter? If all that matters is that, yes, it's happening, so what's next? Well, so what's next? You just have to move forward. Each and every one of you. Now you know. But instead of trying to figure out, well, what are they? You start trying to figure out what it is that they're doing, when they do it, where they do it, what they're doing, so you can just function. You need to learn how to function. You need to learn how to operate. But I'm telling you, once you start understanding everything, what's going to happen is your reality changes. But why does your reality change? Because you no longer tolerate it. If you start understanding, like, wait a minute, they're literally trying to ruin positives for me. Why would they do that? Why are we walking around in a world that, why do I live in a world that operates that way? That's not okay. It's not acceptable. Why do these people care about using AI and money and rushing to accomplishing things? Like, what is wrong with people? And then you're like, wait a minute, a month ago I would have never said that. Have I changed? Yeah, because you awoke. You view things, that you understand that it's not about the external, it's not about the success criteria that someone else established. You explore, you figure things out for yourself. You realize that this is each and every one of us story. It's our opportunity to create our world, but we do it together. And right now, there's nothing further from the truth. No one is doing it together at all. And that was intentional, by the way. They made it that way. Do you guys understand that if all of us collectively agreed to remove all money costs around the world, that there's nothing that anything or anyone can do? That's it. It's over. We win. We're all free. You know what, guys? No one has to work again. You can now spend all your time choosing to do what you want to do, what you want to teach, what you want to guide, what you want to evolve, what you want to progress on. But there's no money. Why would I do it? I'm like, there's really nothing that you care to figure out. If so, that's a problem. That means that you're chained. Do we understand? But I have to pay rent. The landlord. What if the landlord is like, no, you don't have to? What if the landlord's boss says, no, you don't have to? What if they're like, no, there's no bosses. There's no hierarchy system. We're all just equal. Do you guys get it? We all are deciding to enslave ourselves. And it's because of these things, right? But you all need to understand what they are and how they do it. And I've been trying to explain it to all of you. But the thing is, I can give you all the answers a million times over and over again, each and every single answer for how the spirits do it and how they put things in their head and how they start paths and how they condition us and how they do all these things, right? But it doesn't matter if none of you actually stress test and explore it for yourself because you're afraid to actually ask and talk about it openly. Do we understand? If we normalize it, there's nothing they can do. You must normalize all of this. But then it just gets simple. You guys understand? Like, ideally, I would just want to sit back right now and have, like, I don't know, people just joining the stream or just literally writing questions like, how are you guys doing today? They're like, hey, yeah, so I don't understand, like, how to fight back. The spirit just nudged me this and got me on a corrupted path, and I had a conflict with, like, my siblings or my parents because of this. I'm like, how could I avoid that? I'm like, okay, well, this is how it happens. You guys need to create this, like, and just I just know exactly all their tactics and all their plays, and it's just really easy to talk about. But then, like, but I'm like, one thing I don't understand, guys, is like, how can we prevent other people who refuse to take the first step from poisoning everything? What could we do, guys? Because that's, by the way, guys, that's that one I still don't understand, right? I'm trying to figure that one out. See, I'm still trying to figure things out, and to me, everything's so obvious. Like, the answers are just there, but not to any of you, and that's okay, right? Because it's a climb, it's a progression push. So I'm like, well, maybe I can just start positive paths for them. Maybe I can just play music that interrupts their flow and gets them on a positive path, change their recency, have reminders set up that can be, see, like, why do I have to do that? Like, why can't they take the first step? You see, like, it's really challenging and you're like, oh, you know that they're poisoning themselves and they're corrupting us. You know exactly when they're on a dark path and they're consumed. You just, they do set things and you just know. And I know. Do you understand, guys? Like, I can literally scroll my LinkedIn social feed and I can guarantee you that I would get 9 out of 10 times correct, if not 10 out of 10, probably 10 out of 10 times. I will be able to identify every person who's actually completely dark consumed and on a corrupted path. And that means that if they're on that path, that they don't have protections against the things that tell us what to do. You just do what's presented to you. Think of it like if you're on a light path, right now I say, hey, drink water. You're like, should I? Should I not? Let's drink some water. If I'm on a dark path, all of a sudden I'm like, you guys understand that we have to fight back. You're just doing, and there's not. It's not doesn't mean it always has to be bad, right? If you're just moving forward, but you guys see, like, if you're on a dark path, because we can use this get to a state of flow to have that same benefit that the darkness grants us, but we're in full control of our actions. That's the goal. We want to be light, but reach a state of flow, and to do so, we have to be shielded. I'm telling you guys, you need to begin asking questions. You need to begin exploring. You need to begin investigating. You need to begin trying to be like, well, what happens if I do this? I don't encourage all of you to take it to the level that I did. I needed to know, because things were getting absurd in my reality so many times over the last 16 months. So I push things to a level that I don't recommend any of you to do, okay? But you don't have to. Do you guys understand? Like, okay, well, what if I bait them to think that I'm going to, like, sing a song right now? You're like, oh wow, they tried to just poison that. What if, like, I know that this thing over here had poison in the past? Like, I just, whenever I went down that path, there was always a negative reminder. Let me just put it out in the open. Will they do? I'm like, oh wow, yep, they try to get. Do you guys see? Like, all of a sudden you can be like, wait, are they really going to try to remind me of this and poison it again? I'm like, yep, they will. I'm like, whoa. Like, right now, just even talking about it, guys, could it be that when we talk about things out loud, we could be nudging ourselves? Is that possible? Yeah, it is. You can start paths. So we're going to do a quick intro. What is this, guys? It's pasta, right? Uncooked pasta? Nah, it's a rubber band. It's a rubber band that broke. Could this be a tool that's used for different things? What if I said you can use it as an interrupt snap? Ow! That hurt. Did it? I'm telling you guys, just because something broke, that's each and every one of us. At some point in our life, we thought that we broke. Does not mean that we're broken. It's a new beginning. It always is a new beginning. Every single thing that happened yesterday doesn't matter. You have to get to that point. It just doesn't matter. You can't be attached to it. You can't care about it. I'm telling you, they're going to remind you of every single thing. You have no idea, guys. They do it through the most absurd, obscure, roundabout ways to make it happen. Okay? I'm telling you, each thing does that. So what if I realized, I'm like, well, wait, I can use this as a tool to interrupt, but I could also, what if I want to use it as a bracelet, right? Well, I can't anymore, but what if this works? What if I have to walk around today without letting this rubber band fall? What if I have to do the rest of the drink? Can I drink water actually without doing that? I'm like, okay, let's see. Actually, that's maybe a little bit too easy. But what if I'm just going about my entire day like this? Do you guys understand that I might go to the bathroom and accidentally, when I'm washing my hands, you see, like, I even have to wash my hands differently, because if I tilt my arm too much, what if it falls? What if it gets, I can't also get it wet? So I have to wash my hands? You see, guys, a self-intentional limited challenge can completely change our path. Just like everything I'm talking about today, I had no plan at all. Just so you guys understand, I'm just like, what happens after? I'm like, this. I'm just talking, right? I want to simplify it even more. Next time I talk again, I'm going to simplify it even more. I'm just going to have a little bit more of a calm conversation, but it's okay. There's a lot that happened today, so this was just a progress push. But it was still great. I still explained things in different ways that I never explained it before, and it was fun to talk about the stuff that I talked about today. Do you guys see like something as simple as this? But what if instead of the rubber band, what if it was an animal, an insect? What if it was an insect that we didn't value? What if it was a cockroach? What if it was a mosquito? What if it was a fly? And just it landed on your arm and it didn't move. It wasn't afraid of you. Because, by the way, there's more to animals and insects than you guys think. Could that be the case? Could they be more aware? Could they be another vessel just like us for spiritual entities? Could their paths be controlled at times just like ours? I'm telling you. Right now I'm saying, hey guys, have you seen the new Hans Zimmer album? Have you guys listened to the Batman song? Wait, who's the one who makes Interstellar and Oppenheimer and Tenet? Do you guys understand? I can start paths like that for you guys, and I can make you think about things that you didn't think about before. So could that be happening to animals and insects too? Could they be illusions? Could they be real but just be controlled? Could they be slowly getting manipulated temporarily like us? You see, like we start asking questions, and then when we start watching them and start exploring with them, I'm like, could I interrupt them out of their path? Could I help them like remember? Could I help them get on a good path? Maybe, maybe not. But you guys see, like all of a sudden you start asking questions. So what if this rubber band was like a cockroach or a mosquito or an insect, and it just wasn't afraid, it was just on my arm? Do you guys get it? My entire day is going to be different if I want to make sure that it doesn't get hurt. But like, why wouldn't you kill it? Why wouldn't you hurt it? I'm like, well, it's not doing anything to me, is it? But yeah, but it's a pest, and I'm like, why is it a pest? Did someone put that information into our head, or did I determine that for myself? Do you guys see? You're going to be able to identify what's actually poison versus what was put into your head. I'm telling you, we each have things that are poison for us. I promise each and every one of you. That was intentional, and you need to identify what that is for you. But you have to identify it for yourself. And the only way to do so is to create distance from everything, throw a nuclear bomb, blow up everything, limit info, hibernate, get quiet. 100 pieces of information total in one day. Do you guys understand that I gave you probably like 1,000 more on this recording stream alone? Hear what I said, 100 pieces of info. Especially, and if it is info, it should only be about your shields. So, hey, read about coffee, read about Final Fantasy. Maybe I read my own posts and my videos. Do you guys understand? So if I'm consuming info, it's the things that I know are my path. And I promise you though, once you awaken and you get to this point where you can question things and understand that everything's so simple, yet at the same time, there's a lot to learn. We're always learning something new. You're completely open-minded about everything, right? You don't judge anymore, but you understand what's good and what's bad for you. You understand positive paths and you understand negative paths. And you just explore. You understand you don't need to do everything, but you understand what matters. You don't have to consume it the way people tell you to. You can choose for yourself every single thing. So many times people worry, like, if I don't consume news, if I don't consume info, I'm going to be left behind. I'm going to be ignorant. I'm telling you, it's the exact opposite. When you don't have an excess info that you're not choosing, it opens you up to be able to just be free to anything. Think of it like, okay, you can hold 1,000 pieces of active info. You only have 100 in there. That means that there's 900 that's open for anything. And that means that allows you to explore. This might actually be the answer. It's what allows you to explore, because if you have 1,000, think of it like a computer, right? Like the storage. If your entire storage is full with all this other meaningless, unnecessary info, I'm like, why do I care what's happening in the neighboring town where I'm at? I'm in Barbados right now. So just by saying that, you see, you can teleport there. I'm in Barbados on the beach. I'm like, whoa. There's stuff. Did you guys know in Barbados, apparently there's no hurricanes? Why do you need to know that? Why do you guys need to know that? Does that actually matter to you? No. Yet, what if every day I told you guys, hey guys, you know what? How about we check out the Dominican Republic? And the beach is there. Do you think there's storms there? Could there be a storm brewing today in the world that's going to affect the entire world because it's going to be a bomb of awareness? Oh, you see, like, I can make you guys care about things that don't matter to you right now. Right now, each and every one of you just needs to start learning how to ask questions and break your chains that prevent you from talking about this stuff and figuring things out and piecing things together. But if you have all this info in your head, your focus is on all that stuff. And I'm telling you, just it doesn't matter at all. At all. They make you care about those things and they just don't matter. They don't. Because when you have room to navigate and explore, all of a sudden you realize, like, wait a minute, everything is a possibility. Everything is a path that I could explore. And yet, at the same time, you also know what things are not good for you. Because you're not chained to anything. You can just decide every single path. This is what happens after you awaken, guys. Do you understand? It's just exploration. It's an openness to the world. There's no judgment, but there's also, you just know, like, hey, yep, that's not the path that I need to walk. And that's that. If other people want to walk that path, you let them be, but you stay far away. And it goes for every single thing, by the way, guys. You understand? You're like, I don't care about coffee. I'm like, that's perfect. I do. Do you guys understand? It changes how we operate. But right now, none of you are at that level yet because you can't ask questions. You don't stress test. You don't explore. You think life is figured out. You think the way the world operates is the way it actually operates, and it doesn't. And you can't even conceptualize that. I'm saying this right now, and you're scoffing at me. You think that I think I'm a know-it-all. Well, wait, what if you don't think that? Do you guys see? I suggested that to you. Do you understand, guys? Why am I determining your opinion? Who am I to do so? All I want, and hear what I just said, what I want, that matters. Why does that matter? Do you guys get it? Why do you care what I want? Why should you? I just want for each and every one of you to be able to choose. Because up till now, none of you have actually been able to choose. You think so, but you haven't. Let today be the day where you finally awaken and are open to exploring that, hey, maybe the world isn't the way we were taught. If you can take that first step today and start asking questions and finally realize, wait a minute, I need to start breaking these chains. I can start identifying poison. I can start identifying attacks. I can start identifying the positive paths. I'm willing to explore things. I'm willing to stress test. I'm willing to figure things out for myself. I don't need a guide. I don't need someone to tell me all the answers. But I'm so lost about how this world works now that I'm starting to piece things together. I could use some help. I'm like, I'm here for you. I'm here to guide you. I'm trying to give you guys a lot of answers up front so that you don't get lost, because I'm telling you, when all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, wait, it works like that? This is how the world works? Most of you are going to get shattered. It's normal, because we spent 30 years learning that the world works one way and it doesn't. But you have to piece it together. And that is a climb. That is exploration. That is figuring new things out every single day. And most of you have a routine. Most of you have your entire life already figured out. And I'm telling you, it doesn't matter how old you are or how young. Once you understand that the world does not function the way you think it does, the way we were taught, a new game begins. Or think about all of a sudden the whatever movie you were watching, right? Let's just say like you were watching Harry Potter, Sorcerer's Stone. you exit out the movie and you start the next one, Harry Potter Chamber of Secrets. Doesn't matter where you were at in the first movie. That's it. The first movie's over. Same. It's like starting a new game with a video game. That's it. Because everything from the first one doesn't apply anymore. Doesn't mean that some of the things don't pay off, right? Like you learn some lessons and you learn how to, like, hey, we know how to communicate, right? Do you guys get it? Everything changes. That means that you now have everything to figure out again. I just think about like the elders, right? The grandparents, parents. A lot of them think that they've already solved everything and that's it, especially if they're retired. And I'm like, do you guys understand? You have an entire world to figure out again. Do you remember how you felt when you were like a teenager or like you just graduated college with your diploma? I'm telling you, each and every one of you is going to feel that way again because there's so much to learn and figure out. Yet at the same time, you don't need money. You have everything you already need around you, each and every one of you. There might be some things that I recommend, right? I think all of you should hibernate. All of you should stock up on some cheap food until the world agrees to remove survival costs. It's a necessary thing that we have to operate on. But do you guys get it? Like, these are the paths that we need to walk sometimes to get the answers. I want all of you to understand this, okay? And then we call it the arc, the great hibernation, okay? Spend some time just away from all the info. Limit as much as possible. If you want to consume some things, just have my profile open on LinkedIn or YouTube, Star Diplomat, and just refresh it like once a day or once every few days and just consume something and that's it. But you see, you already have it open to that tab. You're already on that page. You're not searching because anything you search, you can get new info presented to you. It can take you from one path to the next, one path to the next. So like, let's say I'm searching for the Phoenix, the Star Diplomat, the Shepherd, and the Dark Knight, the Sun. And all of a sudden I'm looking up there, right? But do you guys see that there's things around there? You see my hair, you see a lamb, you see an arm, you see the lion, you see the owl. You guys understand? That's what happens when you search. You wanted this, but you saw all that. And that's how they start paths, guys. It's really important. Okay? But think about that. Imagine if all you saw was this up there, right? You only saw the Phoenix. Do you guys get it? If that's all you saw, then you can start slowly adding in, like, well, I don't care about the lamb one. I just want the lion. I'm like, okay. But how do I explored, right? Do you guys see? But it's a new beginning. It's an opportunity for you to do so. But right now, you guys have all this. And I'm like, do you need all this? Do you? They made you think you do. But you don't. I encourage each and every one of you to start exploring. You have so much to figure out. And for most of you, you're not going to start this path of awakening and learning about the new world because of a loss, because of torture, because of an attack. For you, each and every one of you, you get to choose to walk a new path, a path of possibility, a path of peace, a path of hope, a path of light, a path of opportunity, endless, limitless freedom, because you get to, because you get to choose to, because you realize the world doesn't have to be this way. And you didn't lose anything. You have everything around you that you need. Take advantage of that, guys. Don't waste that opportunity, because that's the way it should be. Because there's so much amazing to figure out, but stop going outside as much, right? Because you can't control what info is presented to you outside. Stop just scrolling social media. Stop just searching for things that you don't actually need. And if you do, make sure you're shielded when you do so you can just get what you do need. Hey, I want to find that new song from Hans Zimmer. Okay, but I should search for the exact one. Don't just type Hans Zimmer song because that opens you up to far too much noise. Do you guys get it?
I recommend video games because you can create your own challenges in them. But you don't even need that. But they're really powerful. There's so much to learn. Each game is a whole world. I'm telling you guys. If you had to learn like Elden Ring, Final Fantasy 14 online, Fantasy Star Online, on like the PlayStation, um, and there's so many games, right? Each one of them, and a lot of them are even free to play, right? You guys don't, but developers, please make your games free or $1 if you have to. But we need to not be charging people. You guys can give people the answer to all the problems in the world. If they can create challenges and push themselves and learn how to figure out things and explore in your game, do you guys understand how much contribution to the entire world you are giving? You're literally saving millions of people if you do so. Don't you guys want to be part of that? Do it, video game developers. You guys could be the heroes. So, but even like, hey, could I cook differently? Can I make those, like, you guys heard how I made some like chocolate nuts with like cayenne pepper and things of that nature, and how I like prepared my coffee, and if I warm, you guys see, like, you don't need the crazy tools. You can use what you have around you. But I'm saying, if you need to get some stuff, just get the things that matter, that let you do these progression pushes and block as much information as possible, and then just try to limit things, and just stay away from it all for as long as you can. 40 days, 50 days, 60 days, and just add in your information and your shields and the things that matter to you, but keep testing things and trying to figure it out. Be like, well, did I felt really good? What did I do? I'm like, okay, so I healed. Everything's a reminder to heal. I taught people. I pushed this. I'm like, oh, but when I did that, when I was trying to like do this, I actually got a lot of attacks. Like, there was a lot of problems that happened today. Like, why did that happen today? I'm like, could it be that when I do a lot of progress in something, or when I'm trying to educate people, or awaken people, do they respond? I'm like, interesting. They counter my attacks for healing, because I attack by healing. I'm like, they then attack viciously. I'm like, oh. So I have to make sure that when I do a lot of progress and charge ahead, I need to make sure to shield myself, because I know they're going to attack me. And you're like, how can you just talk about that so easily? And I'm like, it's my reality, right? I figured it out. I pieced it together. And you guys are going to start doing that. Maybe you're not experiencing that, but your role is in the role of the shepherd. Do you understand? Start exploring, guys. You have an entire new world in front of you. All of you think that you've already figured it all out and that you've already accomplished everything. I'm telling you, all of you get to start life anew, starting today. Take advantage of it. Now that you're awakening and figuring out everything, that the world doesn't operate the way we thought, it doesn't mean that you have all the answers. What it just means is that you're now, for the first time ever, not chained. You're willing to explore. You're willing to ask questions. You're willing to not worry about getting it right. You don't care about the external success criteria. You just walk forward. And you just know that, hey, it's simple. Like, these things just don't matter. Like, the past just doesn't matter. But it doesn't mean that we should focus on it, or it doesn't mean that we can just completely ignore. If they're constantly trying to remind us of it, we have to defend ourselves. We have to fight back. We have to protect ourselves. We have to create positive paths for ourselves. We have to do what we must to survive. But that's enough. I just want all of you to understand that the world doesn't operate the way we think. And the sooner we can just accept that, the sooner we can start being free. So many of us want to be the expert. I'm telling you guys, there's nothing that I would rather want than to not be the one who knows all this. It'd be so much easier. Do you guys get it? It's not always a blessing to know everything about how the world operates. Yet, at the same time, all of you have the opportunity to figure out how this world operates without the negatives. But you have to learn how to defend yourself. You have to learn how to protect yourself. And it only happens by starting to identify what's happening. But until you're open to be like, could it be that there's more to the world than I think? And we can never move forward, because all of you don't even try. So what is awakening? It's understanding that you're going to have more questions than answers, but that's okay. Because you know what? Life's simple. We just got to explore and move forward. All right, guys.